Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Chat with Kat, and today I am honored. I have one of my most favorite photographers on here. I'm so excited. Please introduce yourself.
What's up everybody, I'm Brock, Doc Shoots 2 Photography.
Yes, he's amazing. We just got finished doing a photo shoot, so my hair is a little wet. He's got me on this whole natural thing, and I'm excited. Like, you guys just have to stay tuned to see the work that we're putting out. But anyway, so this is not what we're here for today. Today we want to talk about something that I feel like is not talked about enough, but if you've been on my channel, you know that we talk about it. Mental health, and September is Suicide Prevention Month. And today, September 10th, is actually Suicide Prevention Day. So I was talking to my good friend Doc. I said, hey, would you mind speaking a little bit on mental health and suicide prevention and all that stuff? Especially because I feel like we don't get enough men and men of color talking about this subject. So while I'm going to say what I want to say, we're just going to kind of have a little dialogue here, go back and forth. And yeah, so I want you to tell everybody the same stuff you told me a little while ago, because I was just like, oh my God, they got to hear your story. So if you wouldn't mind sharing, please.
Yeah, so in another life, I also serve as a military chaplain. And so, as you can imagine, as a military chaplain, we have, by law, 100% confidentiality. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like on the civilian side where you have this obligation to report things to authorities. Like, right. When I talk with a military service member or their family member, like whatever they share with me stays with me unless they sign a waiver of confidentiality.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, like, I've heard a lot of stuff over the years.
I can only imagine the stuff that just stays with you.
Yeah, not only that, but I've seen a lot of things. I've been on a team with first responders, like to suicide attempts and completed suicides, homicides, all those kinds of things. And so, make a long story short, like, a lot of those things began to get to me. And it was probably around 2018, 2019 that my wife really began to notice some changes in me. And so I went to see mental health. I was diagnosed with PTSD and an anxiety disorder that I'm still working through. I was medicated for a little bit, but now I work through the anxiety with breathing exercises when the attacks come along. But I've had my own journey in terms of suicidal ideations. And I think people see me and they obviously, like, from a photography, videography standpoint, people see the work that I produce. They know a little bit about my background. I've got an amazing family, beautiful daughters, beautiful wife. I've been blessed in my lifetime, and at the same time, I began to, for reasons unknown at the time, began to have some serious suicidal ideations where I was at a point to where, you know what, I really need to go re-engage a therapist. And I was in intensive, like, in-person therapy weekly for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
While I work through that. But I'm definitely in a much better place now. And even the work that I do as an artist, as a creative, really plays into me feeling better, I'm big on body positivity,
right?
Obviously,
you look around the studio, that's all you see. Yeah,
and I mean, even the shoot that we just completed with the bare face, I like making people feel good about themselves,
right?
And me being able to create something that didn't exist, before I put my hands on it, and that's in a way is something that just keeps me in a good mental space.
Yeah, no, and I'm just so happy that we have people like you who come out on the other side, because as we know, it doesn't always turn out that way.
Yeah.
So I know that there's so many people out there right now, and I hate to say, well, men especially, that they're going through like a tough time how you were going through at one point, and they're sitting there right now like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, they're just looking down, and they feel like, I know I can speak from my personal experience. I felt alone, and I'm sure a lot of people do feel, or they don't feel like they want to burden people with telling them their problems, and they don't feel maybe like therapy is going to work for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things going on in people's minds that's why when other outsiders are like, well, why don't you just go to a therapist, or why don't you just do this or that, when it's like, if you really think it was that simple, don't you think that a lot of people would just be doing that already?
Yeah.
So I feel like, what would you say to someone who really is like at rock bottom? They feel like they can't get up no matter what they do. You know, they may hear something like this and it may give them some sort of hope, but I really just want to know from your point of view, like, what would you tell someone who was literally just like, bro, I feel like today is going to be the day?
Yeah, I would tell them that even if they don't, like, how you feel is not always a fact.
Right.
I think that was one of the biggest things that I was told, and I believed it. I believed the people that told me that even when I didn't believe what they were saying. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, our minds are very intricate things, and we experience vicarious trauma. We experience other types of trauma. Like, you could wake up having all things being equal and still not feel good. Mm-hmm. And so
they'd be like, why are you so upset for? You have a roof over your head.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. So, but how we feel is not always a fact. And I would also tell them that, you know, you're valued, you're loved, that, you know,
those
from
positive affirmations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, even from a faith perspective, like, you're created in the image of God. Like, you're not a mistake. Like, we make mistakes, but we are not the sum total of the mistakes that we make. We're bigger than those things.
I like that a lot.
You know, all of those things. So, and then finally, I would also encourage them to get help. Like, you know, there's all kinds of hotlines and different people. I would just say, like, take the hard, necessary first step to get some help. And for me, when I went to the therapist, when I reached out to military mental health and you know, as far as my story is concerned, that walk was like the longest walk that I ever had to make, and it felt like everybody's eyes were on me. I felt like everyone knew what I was there for. As a military officer, and, you know, obviously I got the NFL alumni on as well. It's a lot of people, because of my physical stature and my stature in my community. You know, I know how to wear the mask really well. Right. So I would just encourage people, men in general, men of color, you know, like, find a brother or someone that you can keep it real with. Right. You know,
can relate to, and they won't judge you.
Someone who doesn't want anything from you.
Yeah.
Someone who only wants the best for you.
Good intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, for sure. So thank you guys so much for coming to another episode. Like, I always try to mix it up a little bit, and I figure with September being Suicide Prevention Month, I get my good friend on here. I'm so happy he said yes to this. Absolutely. And can I just say one last thing? He did play for the Texans. We played the Texans today and we won, so, you know, that's why it's Football Sunday, first Football Sunday of the month. And thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you being on here and talking and sharing your stories with everybody. I know it's not always easy opening up, but hopefully we have inspired you guys to open up as well. So I will see you next time. Bye.